What's going on, everybody? Back it up a little. Oh, you know what? Let's try a little something. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. Mic check. What's up, Sevens? What's up, guys? Why don't I? Thank you, Scottish Krish. That was a good Scottish accent, dude. Was that crazy? You're like, he was there, then he wasn't. You guys ready to pop on? 7,000 ways. How's everybody? Wow. Yeah, we're going to bring our 7 million friends, and yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
What's up?
How's it going?
I want that hat.
John left, but he's coming back, hopefully.
All right, that's cool.
He's just getting some water, I think.
He
You get me some too?
He took a page from my playbook. He's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I'll see you in a...
All right, peace.
Who is this guy? Who is that? Who is that hooded man?
Hooded man.
Tell me about the art in the background.
That is an IKEA thing. I wish I could say that it was like super fancy or that our friends drew it or something. But
Would you expect
no.
anything else from Swedes?
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you, Pocket. Pocket's like, yeah, dude, love that IKEA. Seriously, is it a shot of like? Do we have any idea where? Is that like?
I don't know if it's in a real
forest?
place. I think it doesn't look like a photo. It looks
Oh.
more like an actual painting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
it's like woods. We liked it. Anyway.
Yeah, we're like, we need green because it's always
what
like
we
gray
need to
here.
find out is
Yeah.
because there's a lot of love for IKEA right now.
Yeah.
Did you get this in Sweden?
No,
Or
no,
did
no.
you
We
get this? Oh, that would have been amazing.
No.
Right at the source.
we have a bunch of like Swedish things though, but
do.
not the
The
IKEA
only-
stuff we bought here.
The only
So-
furniture we have is from IKEA.
Or it's
that
thrifted.
is not thrifted.
Or secondhand,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like probably the most awkward thing I could mention right now is that my girlfriend visited Sweden last year and she came back and goes, I actually like the meatballs at IKEA better.
Yeah.
She literally
funny.
said that. And I'm like,
In Sweden.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, she
That's
likes
a
it
thing.
better at IKEA here.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's there. I would say like the meatballs at IKEA are very like plain. So if you're more like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Dan,
Nice.
what do you-
Dan is
Dan,
awesome. Dan is
killing
like the
it.
sweetest.
Yeah.
He came into our stream
Oh.
once, just like randomly and dropped like a bunch of likes and then
Dan.
just left. It was
Absolute mad
great.
vibe.
thank you, bro.
Oh, so sweet.
Dan doesn't like slide into a room. Right?
No.
He's just like, what's up, everybody?
Yeah.
I have arrived.
It's like the Snoop of the party, dude. It's like, yo, let's do it.
I love it so
It's like,
much.
oh shit, I think the party just started. I
Yes.
think it just started,
I love
Nice.
it.
dude.
Yep. Dan
Um,
knows how to do it.
He does know how to do it. And thank you, Pocket, as well. So
Yeah.
we are so happy to have you guys on again.
We're so
Yeah, it's
excited to
great.
be here.
I heard that you were telling people that we're nice half an hour ago.
Yeah, you
did.
I think
I
you are
don't
pretty nice.
appreciate that.
You're
We're
like,
not-
you're ruining my
we're not-
reputation.
We're not as nice as they said. Whatever they said, we're not that nice.
You're killing my reputation, man.
Yeah, like
Killing
you're
it.
totally ruining.
Dan.
Dan, dude,
What the crap?
he must have. Does anyone watch? There's a show that's like been around for a long time called Suits. Dan, thank you
Yeah,
so
Suits is
much.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
I think Dan reached for one button and then
Dan.
accidentally.
Dan.
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 dude,
Dan.
Dan. Oh my God. Thank you.
That is
I
so
think
sweet.
he's just very excited about the combination of mojo going on today.
Yeah,
right now.
maybe.
I think he feels it because
Good
I was
mojo
feeling it
vibes.
the last 24 hours. Tori can tell when things are gonna get wild because I get especially antsy like 12 hours before I start texting her like 100 times. I'm like, hey, we got to do this. We should do that. And I'm like, how do we do OBS if they're a guest? And she's like, you can't do that, bro. And I'm like, we need to figure it out right now. And she's like, but you can't. And I'm like, what about this link on YouNow that says blah, 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 blah. and then I was like, I was listening to so much of your music last night again.
Oh, thanks.
And just kind of like getting back into it and kind of like putting myself there.
Yeah.
And I just thought, shit, there's got to be a cool way for us to be able to hear music in a good, audio environment. It sounds like you guys you're like, yeah, dude, we had that figured out 2 years ago.
I mean, we've had to figure out a lot. We've come a long way since we started streaming because, we know how to do things live, obviously, and that helps.
It's very similar.
On the stage and stuff, and that helps a lot. But
I see what you mean, live. When someone says we know how to do things live now, seriously,
I know.
My head immediately goes, oh, you guys are live
streaming.
Yeah. And you're like, no, dude, remember stages? Remember, there was a thing and you get on top and then everybody watches.
Yeah.
That's like, our kids are going to be like, tell us about when it was like a stage.
Yeah.
Back in the 2010s.
Yeah.
When performing was a thing.
Yeah.
On physical stages. Yeah. That was a thing.
They're about to play.
Yep.
But
we've had to figure out a lot since then. So hopefully it's all going through the right thing now.
Should be good.
Yeah.
Dude, and you guys have been on YouNow for how long now?
80 days, I think it
80
is.
days,
80 or 81 now. Well, you know how it when you log in, you get the little bonus. The little. Yes, so if you log in everything, and we have been logging in every single day, at least we haven't streamed every single day, but we've logged in. And so it keeps count for us. So 80 days now.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on 90 days. Which sounds
just
like
about 3 months.
Might be a thing. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll make it a thing. It'll be great.
Well, at least have
90-day stream.
We should have a 100-day celebration.
Yeah. I like that. John said, "We'll make it a thing."
Yes.
I like that. So we're stoked to have you guys on. I just want to get sort of a quick peek on who's here. With especially with something like what we're doing today. I try and kind of read the audience a little bit because we could go heavy into music industry stuff or not. And so I want to sort of I want to go wherever it's useful for you guys, wherever it's cool, wherever the sort of mood takes us. Right.
Yes.
And appreciate you guys just kind of being a part of that process. I think this is going to be amazing. I think this is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So I would love for anyone that maybe doesn't have, hasn't had a chance to hear you guys play. Do you guys want to kick it off with a song first, just to give people a little taste of what you're capable of?
Yeah, that sounds great. We should have prepped. Do you want to do Lovers for Life? Just because it actually tells our story?
We can do that.
Let's do that.
Love it.
Love that. All right. Okay. Just gotta switch over from sitting to standing.
Did I say that I'm so excited to be doing this right now?
Oh, that's so exciting. We're so excited. We've been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah.
Ever since our last talk, we've been we're so excited to go back.
Okay, so we're both on the same page.
Yes.
Probably even on the same line in the same corner of the page.
Pretty much.
Definitely,
I hope so.
definitely.
That would be great.
That would be cool. And I love the hat. I seriously love the hat.
Aw.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
It's from H&M, another Swedish company.
Oh my God. This show brought to you by Sweden.
Yeah, exactly.
Zippers brought to you by Sweden.
Is that true? Did Sweden invent the zipper?
Yeah.
You're
a Swede invented the zipper. I think he was actually in the U.S. at the time.
We could go so many places with that, and it's probably better that you guys just start.
For sure.
Anyway, this is Lovers for Life, which is an original of ours, and it kind of tells our story. We were in a long distance relationship, and so right before we had to decide whether we were going to stay together and do the whole long distance thing or whether we were going to break up. And this song is about that, how sometimes you have to take a chance on love.
Yeah.
I should take a walk in somebody else's shoes and stop spending my day singing the blues. 'Cause loving never came easily to me. No, love rarely comes for free. So take this moment and hold on tight. You never know, I could be the love of your life. If we don't let go, we could be lovers for life. We could be lovers for life. Everything changed when we walked down these halls. Your smile across from me got me standing tall. 'Cause loving never came easily to me. And love rarely comes for free. So take this moment and hold on tight. You never know, I could be the love of your life. If we don't let go, we could be lovers for life. We could be lovers for life. A million miles can never separate our love. It's been months, but I can still feel your touch. People want me to start over with someone new, but I can never forget you. I can never forget you. So take this moment and hold on tight. You never know, I could be the love of your life. If we don't let go, we could be lovers for life. We could be lovers for life. Ooh. 'Cause loving never came easily to me. No, love rarely comes for free.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you guys are great. We got some
Thanks.
really great people that snuck into the room here that I just wanted to let you guys know about. Maddie, good to see you, brother. Maddie is a studio owner and producer in New York City who's coming in today because I told him you better fucking be here. And
Love it.
Miguel Goda, kind of same thing. Kim, great to see you again. Thank you so much.
Hi, Kim.
Hello.
Goda is another friend of mine who's a wonderful dude and person, and also a really talented producer and musician who happens to live in Mexico City. Great friend and colleague of mine. I also told him you better fucking be here today because these are two people who have a lot of skills and a lot of love for the craft of making music professionally. And these are the kinds of people that I want around you as much as possible. As a general idea, but I also wanted to perhaps bring one or both of them, or maybe some other folks in to just sort of chat about, what we can do to move the needle for you guys.
That's so awesome. Thank you, dude.
That's
We
really
appreciate
nice. Thank
that a
you.
lot.
Yeah, of course. And good to see everybody else here, Kim. It's great to see you. Always good to see your, thank you, Kyle. For those of you that I don't know your name or you have a longish, Anna, good to see you. Donnie, good to see you. If you have a longish name, forgive me. Sometimes I'm like, how do I pronounce that? But
yeah.
It's great to see everybody, and thank you guys for coming through. We're gonna do some stuff today to kind of look at the future and help see if we can materialize the future that you guys want in your music career in the next 45 minutes. Should be pretty easy, right?
Sweet.
So,
yeah, super easy.
No problem. I'm sure we can compromise everything into that. Maybe we'll try.
So I want to try something that I've done a lot with students over the years, both music and sort of marketing students, as well as production and sort of music artist students. And this might work, it might not. It might be something that's amazing, or it might totally fall flat and be horrible. So
It's all good.
So with that in mind, what I want to try and do is I want to let you guys envision where you are in a year, exactly a year. So August 2021, right?
Yeah.
And what I want you to do, if you're cool with it, we're going to visualize it, and you're going to close your eyes for a couple minutes and we'll talk.
Okay.
So it might be a little weird on a YouNow to have 3 people on a screen with their eyes closed. I really don't care. Right?
It's all good.
Okay, so everybody close your eyes.
It's so
and
bright
if
in
you
here.
want, you can close your eyes even if you're watching on this. You can probably still hear us just fine.
Definitely.
Right?
For sure.
So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that it's actually a year from now, and we're on a stream in August 2021. So it's August 2021 right now, and we're back again, and you are back on Live. Tori's here, and everybody's here, and you're sort of looking back, and we're going to talk about all the things you've accomplished in the last year, and I'm going to ask you each a question. I'll let you both answer it. You don't have to have the same answer. And you don't necessarily have to answer right away. Let it sort of clarify into one single thing. And what I'm going to ask you, and we're here now in August 2021, is of all the things that you accomplished last year, you guys had such an amazing year. You progressed with your music. You're in a completely different place now. You really you've just done way more than I think any of us anticipated, even though we were very excited for your futures. Amelie, what's the one single thing that, looking back over this last incredible year, that you're in your music career, that you're most grateful for, that you really think is the most exciting part of what you guys did this last year?
So this might be like a weird answer. I don't know, but I think moving to Sweden is really going to help us. Moving to Stockholm, moving back to like my parents and my family and my friends and my connections, I think could be like a huge step for us. And I think it's something.
You mean it was?
Yeah, I mean it was.
It was a huge step.
Right or wrong,
Yeah.
it matters. Just an exercise.
No, I like it.
So
Okay.
you're in Sweden, and you're
we're in
saying,
Sweden.
Pete,
moving to Sweden was the best decision, and I'm very grateful for it.
And what's the best part of having moved to Sweden for your music career? Like, if you could pinpoint like one single thing about being in Sweden that really mattered, what was the one thing that stood out the most?
Being around other really talented, driven human beings who are also like actually in the music industry and want to make a difference with their music and with their writing and with what they put out.
Yep. And I'm super stoked. That's exactly what I was thinking a year ago, was that you guys have so much talent, and you sort of felt like you were kind of like swimming in this tiny little pool, sort of semi by yourselves back in Green Bay. Remember when you were in Green Bay? And now it's like you're just connected with all these great people. So John, and again, it doesn't have to be the same answer or the same context necessarily, right? Because you guys have, it's like two eyes on the same face. You don't have to see exactly the same thing. You complement each other's vision. So John, you guys had an amazing year, and you've done a lot more than any of us expected. From your point of view, what was the one thing that sort of makes you the most proud or the happiest about your progress in music?
Yeah, I would definitely say releasing this new project that we just released.
Yep.
I think we put a lot of effort into it, and the songs are the most honest that we've ever written, and the most hopefully the most connecting to our fan base that we've ever had so far. And I think that has really just like getting in front of a lot of people with our new music has been the biggest thing.
So, but specifically that project,
yeah,
the way it came to be, was there anything specific about how the project came together, or how it landed, or whatever that you really feel good about?
But I think our first single, just kind of like being able to really try to get that in front of as many people as we could, and
yep.
how they connected to it really just showed that we were on the right path and going in the right direction.
And that single did a lot of great things for you guys. Was there one thing in particular that you really felt like was the best thing that single did for you guys?
I think it just helped to like open a lot of doors to meet new people, who are interested in working with us and are interested in what we're doing.
So it was more like a bridge for collaborators and professionals as much as it was, or it was that as much as it was something that your audience also got into and enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And what did the single itself do anything in particular? I mean, did it hit a chart? Did it get placed somewhere? Was it? Do you remember anything that happened in that last year with that single?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
just say something. You
it got on a
what's-
Spotify playlist, and that was super cool. One of their, like, what's it called?
Editorial
playlists. So that gained a lot of traction for us. We got a lot of new fans because of that, and that was really, really cool.
Yeah,
love it.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, my eyes are open.
Okay.
All right.
That was awesome. You guys did an
That was just really
incredible job
great.
with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. That was fun. And hopefully that was super awkward for everyone watching. Like, they're all just.
Oh, I was just trying not to fall off the stool.
Let's go up in front of a camera and then go off into our own little world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, look at all these hands.
That's a really good idea.
A lot of people were thinking that. I think that was actually, wow. Dairy again, like, just kind of went wild. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay, so here are the two things that I sort of pulled the most. Obviously, Sweden, Stockholm, and connections, and that collaborative thing that's going on there. And then from John, what I got was there's a project, whether it's an EP album, whatever, let's leave it a project for now. And there's a single that really was sort of the lead bird on that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, you didn't necessarily say, oh, it did X or Y or Z in a sort of real concrete way, but it opened up a lot of doors. It sort of broke through a lot of opportunities that maybe would not have been opened otherwise.
Yeah.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah. So go ahead. You want to?
No, I was going to say, like, we kind of have goals, but like, I think, like, I feel like our goals are maybe too small too.
Yeah, no, I like that you were like, you've accomplished more than you ever thought you would. Like, putting it in that, like, context, because I think when we started 7000 Apart, we had all these, like, oh, in 1 year we're going to be touring the U.S. and in 2 years we're going to be touring the world. Like, we were very naive, but like in a good,
pause.
Yeah.
There's nothing naive about what you just said. And the fact that you laughed is part of the reason why we should be doing this. There's nothing naive about doing that. And even more to the point, there's nothing naive about planning that and thinking that that's what you're going to do.
No, absolutely.
In fact, I would even say the naive thing is not thinking that and feeling like, oh, we can just sort of like skip along as artists and figure this out as we go and not be ambitious, because ambitious people aren't popular.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we should be ambitious, but looking back at that, like at that time, like it felt good, obviously, and it was good that we dreamt.
How long ago was
that was like
3 years?
Beginning of 2017, so like 3 years, 3.5 years ago, and I think just like knowing what we know now.
Well, we were striving for those goals.
Yes, but knowing what we know now, we know that we didn't know anything back then. You know what I mean?
That's true. And Kim makes a good point. Past tense makes a difference. So feeling one way in the past and then being able to look back and go, I felt that way, but I feel differently now. Is a good thing. But again, part of what I'm good at / annoying with is I don't, with talented people that can do a lot of things in their life, I don't have a lot of patience for like bullshit. Like,
but I think that's good.
That's great.
And so you guys are, perfectly capable of doing lots of great things over the next 12 months.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you both, if you don't mind me asking, and again, like, if there's anything that I ask you, if you're like, I'm not sure if we're totally ready to answer that yet.
We're
like,
an open book.
Totally have that, dude. I'm gonna
We're open
like,
to anything.
The Stockholm thing. The Stockholm thing. Are you guys 100% on that? Is that pretty much like, we need to get back to Stockholm, or we need to get to Stockholm?
Definitely. I think we're still waiting. So I need to get my citizenship before we even can move over there for it to make sense. But I think we're gonna go probably for a month and a half now this fall, if we can. just to be there for a while and just soak it all up and do songwriting sessions and meet people and do some of that.
Also, just like I think the biggest aspect of that too is like Amelie's family all lives there, so that plus the music connections, just like I have my parents that live here,
and just
but
like
that's
the city,
so
like
the
we
city
love
itself,
Stockholm. Like if you take away all the music, all the family, all that kind of stuff, there's no city that we've been to that we enjoy being in as much as Stockholm. And just
inspiring.
Like when John is in Stockholm, like he writes a new song every single day because he's so inspired.
Really?
Well, when we're here, it's like a little bit of a slower process.
Right.
Yeah.
So assuming that you're going to be there and you have a green card or whatever it is you need to get, you think you'll be there and could be settled potentially by like January, or is it going to take you a full 12 months ish to get there? I
mean, as far as settled goes, it's probably going to be more like 2-3 years. Because right now I'm on the path of getting my citizenship in March. And after that, I have to move to Stockholm in order for to apply for John to get his like green card there. And then it's going to be a process of being in Sweden for 3 months, being in the US for 3 months, being in Sweden for 3 months. Yeah. In order to be together, because otherwise I would have to stay in Sweden and John would have to stay in the US because he can only be there for 3 months at a time.
Pause.
So it's,
So first off, Kim makes a really good point. I completely agree.
I
that you
agree
need to
too.
be in a place and a space and with people and the whole flow, especially creative people. It's one thing, I think that's true of everybody, but especially if you're like writing music and collaborative. So I think we all can agree, like, being in a place where it feeds you and you're a part of that is great. Second thing I want to mention is I worked with a lot of people who ended up moving to LA, from wherever. And of course, in their mind, they're like, oh, once I get to LA, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
And many of them, against their wishes, couldn't move right away. And so they would be in, Baltimore, and then they would come to LA for a month, and then they'd go back to Baltimore, and then they'd come to LA for 2. And they always said, what a pain in the ass. And I wish I could have just moved. Actually, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Guess why? Well, you tell me then. Why is that a huge advantage?
Well, just the fact that like we have the infrastructure now to be able to tour in the US and to be able to visit other cities. Like, I mean, we're starting to get friends in Nashville. We're starting to get friends, like, just thanks to YouNow. Like, we've been invited to come to play shows in Florida and East Coast and all of those things.
Yeah.
And just having like Sweden is so small. It is huge for the music, the pop music industry. Absolutely. But besides that, it's a very small country. And so like making a living off of touring.
You get sort of the big, North American market and all the different things that come along with that. And then this sort of awesome, inspiring, little thing that, But in addition to that, what's the advantage of being 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months?
Well, I mean, I think just being able to see people regularly, like a lot of people,
not losing connections, being able to like actually,
you have twice the
also healthcare.
Twice the connections. Healthcare,
Here's the other thing too, though, that I want to mention, because I think it's something Goda can speak to, and Maddie, I don't know if you can speak to this. When you're bi-coastal, or whatever the word is, for wherever you are in Sweden, especially in the music industry, especially if you're a songwriter, if you're doing co-writes, if you're doing sessions and things, the whole updated technological environment notwithstanding, of course you can do things more virtually now, which makes it a lot better than even 6 months ago. The whole world is morphing into a virtual thing, which plays beautifully in. But even if it wasn't, you being somewhere for a limited amount of time and then leaving and then coming back and doing it again and again, for someone in that city, they're actually going to appreciate more when you're there and when you're not there. And they will make sure, like, it's one thing if you're, it's like when Tori and I were talking recently, like, there's a lot of places in California that she and I haven't seen, that someone that comes to visit for 2 weeks will go and see everything. So when people know that you're only here for another 2 weeks, they'll book the session now and make sure, even if it's overnight.
That's how it is with my friends too.
Yeah.
When you're there all the time, it's like, you know what? We should definitely get around to writing that song. It's on the top of my list. It's just I'm
Yeah.
super busy right now.
Exactly. No,
So-
it's so nice to be like actually put on like priority by your friends
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. So when I am in Stockholm and I'm like,
Or
hey, like I
Nashville
would
or
love to
whatever,
take that too.
Plus,
But like
you're more valuable to those people.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you have people in Sweden that you work with, I'm more interested in working with you when you're in Sweden because
Yeah.
I don't know those people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So your sort of value to your network goes up exponentially because you're more valuable to the people in Green Bay or Nashville
Yep.
because of your Sweden thing, and vice versa. So
Yep.
it's actually one of the biggest blessings, I think, particularly in two spaces where you can be productive and things can happen and that you have certain benefits. It's actually good. It's good that you're going to be doing
Yeah.
that the next couple of years.
Yep.
I'm very serious. I'm not saying
No.
that,
No, I
like,
think so
be
too.
like
for
rah
sure.
rah.
No, we're
Yeah.
not
And-
looking
and-
at it like I said, like, oh, we're gonna. It's more gonna be like hard, like just. But we're gonna have to live out of
Yeah.
suitcases. But we've done
Yeah.
that before,
We've been
so
doing
it's,
that for like a year.
and that's okay.
That's what
and
musicians do their whole career.
yes,
Yep.
So that
Exactly.
should be a non-issue.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
That's
that's
all
all
good.
that's all super great. So let's talk about. Sorry, I've been like completely just locked in with you guys, and I've been following. Sorry, you guys. This is probably the worst I've ever been. Where I'm just like, he doesn't seem to be looking at the comments like at all right now.
You're just in the moment, which is a
Yeah.
good thing. You know?
Yeah, and it's a strength and a weakness.
Yeah.
So Wu-Tang was asking about your marketing strategy. Is this the only place you're streaming?
Yep.
Guerrilla ideas? Kind of like, how do you get? Thank you, Kim. Good. Thank you, Tori. So any thoughts on? And let me, if I could, let me sort of slightly reword Wu-Tang your question just to sort of
Yep.
keep it in context, which would be over the next 12 months.
Yes.
What would be some things that, and think, do you know what 80/20 is, the 80/20 principle? Have you heard of that principle
Yes.
at all?
Do you mean like 80% you post about just like fun things and 20% you try to sell something? Is it that one? No.
That's an example of the principle.
Okay.
The principle overall states that in many different areas of life, regardless of what it is, in economics, in business, in health, in anything, that like 20% of the activities that you do accounts for 80% of the results.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it does make sense, but it's actually much more counterintuitive than you think because most people don't think or behave that way.
No.
So to sort of come back to the question that Wu-Tang had and get back to marketing, let's assume that there's one thing you could do over the next 12 months, one or two things maybe, not 12 things, right? That's the point.
Yes.
One or two things that would really make the most, give you the most advantage in terms of your marketing, intuitively, instinctively. Don't think too much. Amelie, what do you think the one marketing thing could be you could do over the 12 months that would just be like explosively effective?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think we have to hone in a little bit more on our image. And I think if we get more of an all around, like, this is who we are, and it's very clear to, if you go on our Instagram page, like, you know exactly who we are right away. Right now, it's very vague. And like when you visit our website, like everything is like branded in the right way. So when people are exposed to us, they can be like, yes, I like this, or no, I don't like this.
So what you're saying is if there was one thing you could do over the next 12 months to really accelerate your marketing, it's actually to have a clearer, more consistent, more comprehensive brand or image that when someone comes to your space, they're like, I totally get what these guys are about.
Yes. And, oh, I really like it. I connect with it. And I'm going to follow these guys until I die.
That last part is so this is where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
You know, people that choose a look and a feel and a vibe, by definition, some of those people are going to fall off.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you, Scotty. And be like, that's cool, but that's not my vibe. So if you're trying to be someone that everybody's a fan of, you're going to have the same issue with, I don't know who we are, because we're trying to be everybody's best friend.
Yeah. Which is
the artist that you admire, or that you can, if I say a word and that you go, yeah, totally. not everyone loves that artist, but some
No.
people are like ape shit for that artist.
Yep.
Yes. That's the thing, though, that it's more important that you brand yourself so that you are very clear, because then it's so much more easier to find the people that are going to like you. When we talk about marketing, like look at Facebook, look at Instagram, like it's so stupid easy to like actually find people who like ice cream and like balloons or whatever, if that's your image, to like be like super poppy and like bubbly and stuff. It's so easy to find those people now, and I think if you make that clear for yourself first, and then do it by your branding, then you can start reaching out to those people, and it's going to be way more likely that they're going to follow you than if you just like be like, hey, this is us, you should follow us, and just like cover like the entire world, you know. You're going to definitely get likes, but you're not going to get fans, if that makes sense.
John, what do you think? Number one thing you could do marketing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say the same thing. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I mean, we were supposed to play live, which kind of was our plan for this year, was to just like play a bunch of live shows, be everywhere, kind of like what if
there's one? Okay, so if the imaging thing could be viewed as kind of strategy, it's something that is an effective, very leveraged way to do something, but it doesn't actually accomplish something that you can write on a piece of paper and say, we did that. That's a strategy. If there was one tactic, meaning like there's one thing that, and it could be just a space or something we got good at or whatever, if there was one area of marketing you could actually accomplish something in measurably, what do you think it might be?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously like the whole Facebook ad type thing, that's something we've not been great at. And kind of going off of what Amelie said, like really finding our audience, you know, like finding ourselves and finding more of our audience too. I think
all right, so can I be a devil's advocate?
Yeah, go for it.
What about, you know, you're on YouNow.
Yes.
And you know, if I think about what 80-20 means, 80-20 should be something that feels like a surprising spike in results. What the fuck? Like, like there's just no way. I don't know. Did you guys expect that you would grow in popularity and in sort of in audience and feel as comfortable on whether it's YouNow or any other platform? But I think you've done really well on YouNow.
Thank you.
Do you feel like that is an 80-20 area that you're like, shit, we should?
Oh, definitely.
Or no?
Yeah.
I think definitely so. I don't know if it's like a perfect 80-20, because like I think in order to do really, really well on YouNow, you have to stream a lot. At least the people we've seen that have been growing like really fast lately.
Define a lot. What does a lot mean?
Every single day for a few hours.
Sure. When we listen. Little, you know, to me the gold standard for a lot of this is Emma McGann.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, like when I go back to like, okay, what
and
is,
Dash,
who's the best, and but Emma has reached Dash is. The potential is fucking off the charts. Emma's actually, you know, put out records. She's there now.
Yep.
And she was streaming 3 times a day in the early stages when it didn't even matter as much.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, it absolutely. I mean, I would say that, you know, maybe multiple times a day is the reality of what it would, But I still think that given the current climate and what you guys have accomplished in, you know, few months, that it seems to me that from a marketing standpoint, again, we haven't left that topic. Strategy, great. Yeah, have clarity, have some sharpness with your image. But like, where are you going to play that out? You're going to play that out on Facebook ads that cost you money? Or are you going to play that out on a live stream,
like, you know,
where we could eventually maybe make money,
and not only that's valuable, obviously, but even more valuable than that, in my opinion, is feedback. So when Dash was on, I don't know if you guys saw,
we watched some of it
on
a little bit.
He said one thing, and probably the most memorable thing he said to me, and that we covered a lot, was, you know, when I first got on there, I just wanted feedback. I just wanted to know, like, if I played a song this way or I did it that way, like, I wanted to get feedback. He wasn't trying to be famous. He wasn't trying to be cool. He wasn't trying to like put out a hit single. He just
Right.
wanted feedback, right? And I
Yeah.
think the value of that can be easily overlooked because it seems like it's free. I can just go on and get feedback. It's super valuable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And so I think that also who else? We've interviewed so many people by now that it all sort of blends in together. But someone had said something, Tori, help me out here, about, you know, when you're putting something together, you want to be getting intel from those people that, you know, you're bringing your music to. So there's this kind of back and forth, and there's a sensitivity and an understanding to what they get when you play a song,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
that it's complementary. You have to be inspired and happy with what you're doing, but also if you're doing something that's over people's heads,
Yeah.
or it's a little too left instead of right or whatever, and they can't quite get it, everybody loses.
Yeah.
So I think I
Right.
mean, again, this is just my, you know, if I'm sitting down with you and I don't know you now, except you just described it to me for 5 seconds since the first time I've ever heard of it, I
Mm.
would still say to you, sounds to me like you guys stumbled into something
Oh yeah.
that sort
Yeah.
of by accident has become incredibly supportive and a
Yeah.
very good space for you that
Oh,
costs
yeah.
Definitely.
nothing except some time and some attention,
Right.
and has the potential to, you know, monetize or whatever.
And
But
grow.
more than that, here's the other thing. You know, we're in an interesting stage of like Facebook marketing and running ad spend where, you know, getting an audience costs fucking money.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
No.
You guys can come on here and get an audience like that.
Yes.
Do you understand? Like,
Oh
it
no,
doesn't
definitely. We're
cost-
so thankful. And I mean, just that we did not expect this. And we've met people on here that are just like, we just connect with. And
Totally.
I
we've
think-
started doing like
which is
even like,
another
yeah.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Actually,
amazing.
it's like the Stockholm analogy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is a good place. It's not just like, well, we should go play that place because they pay us well.
Yeah,
and-
It's
no,
a
no,
good
no.
venue.
No, it's like,
Yeah.
It makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
It feeds the soul.
I really do think
Agree with-
that
Yep.
I really do think that the YouNow thing is, you know, again, if you look over the sort of short term, like 12 months, there's nothing you've mentioned.
Right.
We got 15 minutes. There's nothing you've mentioned that really, like, to me, you know, another 80-20 principle. Like when I do business consulting
Mhm.
for music companies, this is the same kind of conversation I have, whether it's with artists or management or some, you know, product or service in the music space. You want something that seems too easy,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
gives you, for lack of a better term, a sort of competitive advantage that feels almost unfair. Like, you guys are so good walking into this and have made such progress. You're the number one, you know, contestant winner for the June Madness
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know, we all have strengths and superpowers, and we all have things that we're not that good at.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you stumble into something and you're sort of like, why are you making so much progress so easily? That's the space you want to stay in.
Oh yeah. But that's
You know,
all
just
very much yeah.
whatever it is, you know, and it just happens to be
Yeah.
where we are.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
Talking
But
about it.
exactly. But it's thanks to John said this today, like, because, you know, there's this whole partnership competition going on and we haven't been on here for a long time. And so we were like, oh, other people deserve it more. And, you know, that kind of thing. But then John said something that was really smart, which is just like, but we've been musicians longer than a lot of these people have been musicians, you know?
True.
We
That's
came
totally
on this
true.
platform already being pretty much professional musicians.
Yeah.
And while a lot of people that are on kind of started their music career on YouNow, like they picked up the ukulele and started singing, and that was like how they grew. Well,
Right.
we have been
Like,
performing for years.
I've been writing songs for 15 years now.
Totally
Yeah.
pause.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that gives you an unfair advantage.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely.
In other words, you're
Yep.
walking into a club where
Mhm.
you're sort of two of the most accomplished musicians in the room.
Right.
Don't take that for granted, because a year
No.
from now, you know, when I talk to Emma and James and they're like, dude, there's a ton of musicians coming on here. Like, I've never seen it. We've been on here 5 years. I've never seen this. So
Right.
2 months from now, that might not be the same.
Right.
And you guys have a sort of an advantage. I mean, looking at it almost from a, like, you're a business, you're a business,
Yeah.
And things are changing all the time. I'll give you an example. Like, do you guys know what Stage It is? You ever heard of Stage It?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so Stage It is 10 years old. Evan
Wow.
Lowenstein started Stage It over 10 years ago. And that entire time, Stage It is a ticketed platform to do like paid live streams. Oh,
Yes.
come see my concerts, $20. We get 15 or whatever it is, and
Right.
do it again, whatever. The point I'm making is Stage It had 10 years in that space. And what I find fascinating is when I was looking at all of those live streaming platforms over the last few months, because of what was happening with COVID and some things I'm writing about, you know, off the record, but on a live stream with however many people, they completely dropped the ball and did not take advantage of a 10-year advantage of having all that DNA and it's like you guys walking in with 15 years of experience and then phoning it in for a while until someone else takes the lead. And you go, fuck, we were ahead for 6 months, for a year. And then all of a sudden 20 more people came on that had 20 years of experience. And so again, you know, just from a I want you to win perspective, I think you know, continue to stay in the space where you've got this sort of flow going, and you really do. There's so many things that some of which we could describe and some of which are hard to describe, but you like it here. The genuineness and the friendliness and the sort of endearingness of the two of you and your music works really well here. Right? It might not land as well on Twitch. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah.
You guys just have a thing, and YouNow likes you, and people dig you, and it's a very good moment to be doing what you're doing.
Right.
Versus 6 months ago or
definitely.
6 months in the future. So like, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. If I were thinking about the marketing question, I would say until you find something that's significantly better, I would triple down on YouNow.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because we're on YouNow or we like YouNow or that's just until you come up with something, you say, Pete, I think we have something that's even better. Oh, great, let's do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
No, we definitely agree. We were a little unlucky in that right before. So obviously we had like 40 shows canceled, like most of our income just like disappeared, and we didn't get any unemployment money for like a bunch of months. And so I said yes to a lot of translation work, which is my other job. I think Wutang Bunny was asking about what our other jobs were, and I work as a translator. And these last 2 months, I've translated more than I've translated ever.
Like 5 times more than a monthly.
Because what's the relation? Why are you telling me that?
Well, because I've had to spend so much time on translation while we've been doing this whole YouNow thing, which has made me like completely exhausted, and we haven't been able to keep a regular schedule because because I've been working so hard. But we're hoping now that after I get these done, that we're really gonna put more all in. That's the reason why
here's how I would look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tori, do you have time to do this right now? I don't. No, I'm serious.
No, I get it.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Tori,
no. Absolutely.
Do you have time to be doing this right now? Because I don't.
She's
trying to be nice. She knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But I do not have any time.
Yeah.
Like literally, I don't have time to be doing this right now. I really don't.
Yep.
But to me, it's there's something that sort of like overrides that, right? And I'm not saying like, hey, do it anyway. That's not the point I'm about to make. But I just want you to know, like, the people I talk to, like an Emma or Tori and I, or the people, none of us have time to be doing this stuff.
No, of course.
But here's the, don't burn out. That's true. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
because
true.
That's where I've been very, very close to that.
Yeah,
so that's why. Yeah, and also like it's not fun to watch someone stream who is exhausted and really just like anxious.
Agreed.
And
So don't you guys have to know, you have to have enough self-awareness where you're like, oh, we're in the red. We need to, yellow's okay for a day or two.
Yes.
It's sort of like I know I can go about 2 days in a row without enough sleep. And then on that third day, I'm going to be a disaster. So I don't do 3 days. I do 2. And then I'm like, I'm going to sleep 12 hours tonight.
Yes.
And I know that about myself. So you got to know where your limits are. But
that
said, I actually think, this is going to sound weird and it's just a part of how I kind of think about business, but
I get it.
I actually think it's an advantage that it's fucking hard. and then you guys have to do the translation, and then you have to come on and be like, what's going on, guys? And give it. Why is that an advantage? Because most people don't have the juice to actually execute on that. Most people don't.
Oh yeah.
So
we've
all
trained
of
for a while.
all of the fakers that are like, oh, I'm gonna be on YouNow too. It's like, yeah, let's see if you have 18 hours of energy every single day for 19 days in a row.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How long? So again, if you can do it, even if you can only do it for 4 days and then you need to peel off a day and then 4 days, as long as it's a few more days than average, eventually you'll get to the point where, and that's, I mean, any artist that you admire probably did shit much harder than what you're describing. Dude, this happened. I had to move. I had to do that. Right.
Yeah.
So I think those things, most of those things are going to be advantages for you because you're doing something you love, obviously.
Yes.
That gives you 10 times the energy. That's a competitive advantage. So I think the YouNow thing is a tremendous place for you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let's talk about sound and single and project for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you guys were talking musically.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you want to go in on something?
I was just gonna mention before. I think Wu-Tang Bunny. Made a really good point that what has worked for us the most has been guesting.
Yeah.
And I think for us, because we jumped by 800, I think, fans just by guesting like
for
crazy.
A week or two.
And that's something you talked about with Dash the other day.
Yep.
I think that's something that would benefit us more than streaming multiple times. I think it would be more beneficial to like doing multiple tours of other people's streams.
Do you agree with that?
And then
Amelie?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
then
we've
stream
been
twice or something.
and
then
some
do
of our
that.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Definitely.
Do it.
We are.
Like,
we are.
And then a month from now or 2 months from now, we'll talk about how your guesting and touring has been.
Yes.
Great.
We've been doing a good combination.
As much as anything else. Like do the version of the thing. Go ahead. I love it.
No. So I mean, there are like two different types of guesting, I think. So Donnie is the one that helped us go on like these music tours, which is just like you go in, you sing, and then you leave, and then you go to the next one, you sing, you leave. But what we really, and that's like so fun. It's really like crazy. But what we've also been doing lately is that we've been doing jam sessions for like an hour to 2 hours, just with someone that we've connected with. So we've done it with, I think we're going to do it with Kim. We've done it with Dash. We've done it with Taco. We've done it with Luca. We've done it with Dash. Like all of these awesome people, which not only like gives us new fans because we're exposed to because it's mostly on their streams because usually they have more fans than we do. But it's also so amazing to like actually get to know people, which is one of our favorite things in the world. So it feels both the performing and the YouNow meter, but it also feels like, oh, we hung out with a friend today. Sure. Because that's another thing that we don't have.
Describe the jam session. How does that because I was kind of scrolling through some stuff you guys have done recently, and I'll kind of watch you occasionally. You'll pop on with like maybe 2 other artists or music types and just hang for like 2 hours and trade songs.
Exactly. So usually just one other streamer, and then we go a song back and forth like this. Sometimes with Dash, we did it also. He had some people guest as well, and we did it for like 3 hours. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But
if you only did one of those, not that you would, but if you only did one of them, which one would give you the most return?
I think music guesting where it's like multiple people. I think that's more beneficial.
But in
the short term.
Does that mean the jam
fans? No, the other one is, I think that's more beneficial in the short term, but I think jamming and like actually being able to meet the people
and getting to know people
better long term. So I think it's kind of like trying to figure out what's best for this moment, like what you were talking about, like right now, what is working and what's best.
And the touring really only works if you have someone like Unknown that can like help you. Hey, first you go to this person that already checks for you who's live, and because otherwise it's really hard to like go online and be like, hey, can I guest? Like having someone that works for you
hype you up
is really great.
Kim had a great point too. It depends on whether you're trying to go for discovery or connection.
Yes,
exactly.
Very true.
Right. So I think we've discovered a number of cool things that maybe were sort of hidden in plain sight. They were things that you already were aware of.
Yeah.
But maybe they weren't things that you realized are like the thing.
Yeah.
So one is you're going to be doing this sort of taking advantage of this sort of double location thing
Yes.
in Stockholm and Green Bay, and
Yep.
make that work as an advantage, not a
Yes.
disadvantage, and not
Right.
oh why we have to live in our suitcases. No, work
Right.
it. That also means
Yep.
when you're not in Stockholm, hit up all your friends in Stockholm and be like, hey, we're gonna be here from October 1st to the 15th. Let's
Right.
book every single day out. Let's do two writing sessions a
Right.
day,
Mhm.
and then meet with someone for dinner and. Make
Yeah.
it like a business trip where you got to
Yeah.
do enough where you can write it off.
Yep.
So make that stuff, work for you. I think the YouNow thing, triple down on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think either the jam session or the guesting or both or whatever, 60-40 or 50-50 or whatever, that's your play for like the next little while until you,
Yep.
put your head up one day and you're like, oh, we're partnered. Oh, we're making this. And
Yeah.
oh, we know we have this many audience members. The other thing
Right.
I want to mention about that I don't think we talked about as far as the sort of marketing strategy and something that popped in my mind is, Kim was talking about discovery and connection. Your audience, that you build on YouNow can be sort of brought through a lot of different phases of whatever you're doing and can be, for lack of a
Right.
better word, monetized a lot of different ways.
Yes.
Right.
And for the moment, I think the most valuable thing you can do is just build your audience and build love back and forth between you and your audience.
Yeah.
The monetization will come, and it will have a lot of different ways that it can manifest itself.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Some of it intrinsic to YouNow. Some of it can be a sub button. Some of it can be a gift. Some of it can be a Patreon page people help you out with. Some of it can be a buying of the album. Some of it can be a virtual ticket like Emma does. And. But none of that's going to happen without an audience. An audience costs money normally, but on here it doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
It costs
If
time.
you're good, right? So,
But that's
so
more
audience,
easier.
like that. To me, those are the most obvious things. Musically, let's see if we can do. We only got like 2 minutes left, but I want to talk music for a second.
Yeah.
Here's normally I would let this sort of evolve a little more conversationally, but I'm going to show my cards first, which I normally don't do in these kinds of conversations, and then I'll let you guys and everybody else kind of respond to it or think about it or say, no, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. When I listen to your music, if I can be kind of blunt,
Please be.
Your songwriting is very, very strong.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And your ability to interpret your own writing is strong, which is a
Thank
separate skill. And it's something that's the chemistry and the performance and the skill that you put into your crafts, singers, writers, arranging, all of that. So your writing's great. Your performances is great. You can write a song. You can go play that song.
Yeah.
Which means you could pitch songs. You could play your own songs. You could have somebody else do it. You could do there's literally a dozen things you could do if that's the only thing you could do.
Yeah.
As far as your skill sets. In my view, the production level of your music does not live up to that.
Yeah. Agreed.
And from a if you zoom out from a sort of professional standpoint, you walk into a mainstream studio, or you walk into an A&R meeting, or you pitch something to a radio programmer or something like that, a Spotify playlist, out of 10, your strongest production songs are like 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
That pisses me off. That's one of the reasons I wanted Maddie and Goat on here.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an Achilles heel that it's a little bit of a separate question. Sometimes that's going to take some monetary investment to make that different. But I would say that to the extent that you agree with that, I would say your goal would be not to get an 8 or a 9 or a 10 single, but a 7.
Right.
Yeah.
In other words, because a 7, 7.2, 7.5 will get you a placement, will get you on a playlist, will get you so-and-so listening and writing about you. It doesn't have to be a 10.
No.
Yep.
But it needs to be a bit higher than it is.
Needs to be
to
better.
sort of so that people can go, oh, that feels like it could sit alongside this song and that song in a or in this movie where this is happening.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
So again, to the extent that you agree with that, I would say that my biggest ideas for how one would do that is, number one, think about your own internal production process and what you can do to make that. If you look at the whole production process from like the conception of the song all the way through to the final mix and metadata and everything, completely done, right? Even distribution. You look at that whole cycle, figure out like, okay, what portion of that process are we really good at?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what portion do we need to say, look, we could be good at that someday, or we might be able to push it a little, but honestly, maybe we focus on the first 50%,
right,
where we get the basic instrumentation, the basic top line, the basic demo, to where it's like, oh my God, that's gorgeous as a demo.
Yeah.
Great vocals, everything in tune, no bullshit, no like, not, you know, if you need to play to a click, right? If you need to play to a click, play to a click, everything tied in, right? And then before anyone does anything brilliant with it, maybe you say, hey, look, we've got these 3 songs, 5 songs, 7 songs. And then you work with people that can hear that and go, wow, I could, and maybe it doesn't even take that much work to do it. It doesn't take, thanks, Tori. It doesn't necessarily take a lot of extra stuff. It's not like, oh, we got to add live strings and we got to add a live percussion. No, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about, let's wait and bring that percussion in on the second verse. Let's mix this in a particular way where it really brings out the so-and-so and the so-and-so, or let's do a remix version where we can pitch it to so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. Yes. Sometimes it's about understanding the market and the concept of the album or the record as much as it is like what's actually going on sonically, but it's a bunch of that stuff. So,
of course.
So with that said, you know, what do you think? Is it 50%? Is it 75%? What do you guys, if you were trying to improve the production value and you were just going to double down on the stuff you do well, how much of that process do you think is your sweet spot?
I think where we are right now, which is like we have, I think John has written down like 70 songs that we haven't put out or something. And that some of are just ideas. But I think if we actually start sitting down and record proper demos, because John has been doing some demo work lately, and it's already so much more creative and so much more like actually interesting.
Pop.
And pop. And if we can get that part down, that we feel like, hey, this is a really good demo, we could release this as like, and we would feel okay with that. Yeah. And if we can get to that point and then take it to a producer that we actually like, because I think the problem has actually been that we haven't met enough producers that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
No, I think you're putting the cart before the horse. It's not about how many other people you know that can help solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you had the 50%, let's say it's 50% just to keep the conversation easy. If you had that 50%, it wouldn't be hard for you to find producers.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
They'd be like, oh my God, have you heard these guys 7,000 apart? Like they're.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
That's why artists find producers that are willing to work on spec or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would argue
that makes sense.
Are you guys in Mac? Do you use Mac?
Yeah, okay. We're in Logic.
Are you using Logic? Okay. Yep. And Pro Tools or just Logic?
Just Logic. Yeah.
Fine.
John knows how to use Pro Tools, but
that's fine.
It's expensive.
What's the best microphone you use for vocals?
Audio Technica 4050.
This one.
Okay. And what's your interface into Logic?
Apollo Twin.
Great. And do you have a preamp that you're using?
We don't have a preamp right now.
Okay.
No. I mean, I guess we could use that one, but
I mean, we do have we have the, what is it called
those
again?
are like Midas preamps.
Yeah.
But
okay. So nothing in your process, and you guys have a decently sort of calibrated sound environment where you feel like you can make. Do you have any treatment?
It's all right. We have a
closet.
We have a closet, so it's not great, but it's like it's treated enough like for dampening, but yeah.
So that could be based on what you just told me. I mean, the mic, the AT mic is fine. Probably it's probably not the weakest link. It might be your you might want to look into like how can we improve our acoustic environment. It really does make a big difference. And it might be a couple $100 to get some bass traps or whatever it is you need to do, and make that closet. I mean, great records have been cut, with vocal. I mean, I don't have to tell you. So Billie Eilish, whatever. So, but they don't talk about all the things that someone has to do to make that sound great. And so I think if you had a good acoustic environment, because then what happens is, and let's see if my boys are still here. I don't know, but if Goda and Maddie are still here, what happens is, the easiest way to describe it is, if what you're capturing in your home environment, Goda, you want to pop on for a second and chat?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I mean, I'd love to hear your takes on this, because this is someone who does this all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But the basic concept is this: whatever you capture in that home environment, that first 50%, better damn well be above a certain professional threshold, or it's useless.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a mile over that threshold, just an inch over the threshold.
Yes.
So as long as it's just sharp enough that you can hand it to somebody, a producer, say, and they can go, okay, this isn't like, I mean, I can tell it wasn't, recorded at East-West, but this will be fine. I can work with this.
Yes.
And a lot of that is how you put the sessions together, how you organize the sessions, the microphone technique that you're using, the quality of the mic, the gain, and how you're setting up, minimizing noise versus the actual audio signal, all those sort of basic, boring, fundamental engineering things. That means that when you hand someone something, it's got some life to it, and it can have a life afterwards. And so to me, that sort of single idea, that sort of project idea, the best way that gets materialized is you guys focus on the part of the factory that you're really good at, which is, let's say, first 50%.
Yes.
And you get so good at that the way you've gotten so good at live streaming over the last few months. You do it every day or every week. You record a demo every week. Minimum. I mean, every week is kind of easy. Like you could probably do 2 or 3 a week.
A few a week,
we have a lot to do, so wouldn't be hard.
Just get to the point where I think what's important about that, and getting back to that sort of that one Achilles heel you have, I'm not as worried about how great are these songs.
Yeah.
Because I know you can write good songs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is this the first 50% that's going to take it to the second 50% or not? Because my guess is, to this day, you've never gotten that. There's never been, I mean, I can listen to all the records that I love of yours, and I can still hear things that are like, if I was a music supervisor, I'd be like, that's not going to sound good on a big theater, because it's going to sound even more obvious. All those little things that you might not hear in your earbuds, you might hear them in your monitors, but in an environment that's competitive, it won't make it.
It doesn't hold
and then
up,
what you're going to get is, you're going to get a lot of frustrating, it's the music, we love your music, and please keep sending it to us. And no one's going to break this down for you and say, I mean, I can hear a little bit of white noise in it when it first comes on before the music starts. No one's even going to know that's why. They'll just say, we love the music, just doesn't fit for the scene, just doesn't quite. So the production of it is really important.
Yes.
And I think it's something that probably wouldn't cost you, if anything, it would cost you maybe a couple bucks for the acoustics, but really it shouldn't cost you anything except time and a little bit of time to learn whatever you might need to learn. And then start talking to people that can take that second half of the way. Unless one or both of you decide, you know what, we want to learn how to be full-on producers. Great, you could totally do it, but it has to be something that you dedicate yourselves to the way you did to your instruments and your singing. It's not like something you just sort of wing.
No.
Right?
Yeah. No, you have to be analyze it and make sure that you're always growing and you're always pushing yourself, for sure.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it, man. So I feel like we've been on a tear and we're totally like 10 minutes over. But I wanted to share that just because you know, number one, it was floating around in my mind
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we sat down.
Yeah,
But
thank you for
because
your
of what
honesty.
you said,
Yeah,
John,
definitely.
and you're like, yo, I see us doing a single. That single's not going to happen
Yep.
at a 5 or a 6. It could
Mhm.
happen at a 7.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
harder. And even
Yep.
a 7.5 is way better than a 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to say to you is the engineering part of it that you may not necessarily like, you know, it's sort of like showing up on YouNow sometimes when you're like, I'm not totally in the mood to do this,
Right.
but I'm going to, you know, or I don't
Yeah.
have time, or I spent all night translating this thing. Well, do it anyway.
Yep.
Yep.
The engineering part, whether you like it or not, is really important.
Yeah.
And if you guys can just get good at whatever your little piece is, that
Yep.
will be instrumental to you finding that person, that producer, whoever, whether you hire them, whether you do it on spec, whether you do some sort of pub deal with them, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The
Right.
more you bring to the table, the better the deal is going to be.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. I think
That's always how it is.
that's been our
Yeah.
trying to get way better demos has been on our list of things as well. And I think
Yeah.
that some of the demos we've been making sound at least as good
Yeah.
as what's on Spotify right now, in terms of like arrangement and like all that type of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. We have a long way to go, but just like it's more about
I would say this about what you just said,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
When you
Yep.
say what's on Spotify, you're literally saying all the music that exists.
Yeah. No. Well, what's on our Spotify? I mean.
Yeah.
Even then,
He means like our Spotify, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
music we've released.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay,
he's
but
saying
what you said was our music stands up to what I hear on Spotify.
no,
Oh,
he
no,
means
no,
our.
I mean,
it means
I mean
our
like
Spotify.
our profile with like the songs that we've actually released so far.
So you're just saying your music sounds as good as your music?
Yeah.
With
Well,
just our
congratulations.
without a producer.
But
So
with-
What
without a
I'm saying
producer,
is, what
yeah.
I'm saying is
Sorry.
that's not going to get you where you want to be over the next
Right.
12 months, so that you can look back and have the conversation we had.
Right.
You need
Yeah.
to push yourselves out of that comfort zone where it's like, yeah, it sounds pretty good. Pretty good's not going to get it.
no, of course.
It's
Right.
really not.
No.
And
Right.
and so I think sharpening that sort of engineering side, going
Right.
back, you know, play your shit against the people you admire, not against yourself.
Right.
Yeah, no, of course.
Play
Right.
it against an Adele record and
Yeah.
try, and then go back. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I get
But
But
it.
you're
I
saying
get it.
you're saying in
Olympic
demo
standard.
land, you're saying in demo land, play it up against Adele and
Yeah.
like try to make it as good as Adele.
Yes.
Well,
Or
I'm not exactly
Yeah.
saying that. What I'm saying
Okay.
is that your ultimate version of your single, you
Right.
should be playing up against
right.
Yes.
Adele's best
100%.
single, because
100%.
you're,
Yep.
you know, it's
Yep.
like training for the Olympics. You
Yes.
might as
Right.
well have people in your world that are like, wow, that guy's really fast.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, that's what Olympic looks like,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So of course your demo is not going to sound as good as the best thing that comes out of, you know, an artist that you would
Right.
Of course.
Right.
But it's probably not a bad ego check
Goal.
that even if not goal, but
Okay.
like, you know, actually do play your demo against the Adele record.
Yeah.
And even if, you know, the Adele record's 100% A plus, whatever,
Right.
and then yours is the first 50%.
Yeah.
At
Right.
least if you can get that to 51 or 52 or 53, a little bit
Right.
closer
Yes.
to that final version that, you know, she and her amazing team of people put together,
Yeah.
then that means that your first half is going to be better and better and better and better and better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because intuitively that's the bar, not your other stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That makes you get comfortable. That's the exact opposite of what you want to do. Is our stuff always sounds, it still sounds pretty good. That's not. That's
No,
not
of
moving
course
not.
forward with it.
Yeah. I just meant like I meant that the demos that I'm making at home are as good as when we hired a producer for like money.
A lot of money.
Like
That's good. You're
that's
moving in the right direction.
That's what I
Yes,
mean is that it
exactly.
feels like
I
the stuff we're
understand.
making now is like already at that level. So
Yes.
like or closer to that level so that when we go to someone else,
Yes.
like I think it's gonna lift it a lot too.
Yeah, it's
But-
definitely going to be closer to
Yep.
a 6 or 7 just from where we are now. Then
What's your strongest song? What's up, Moonhawk? What's your strongest song? If someone said, "Oh, I got a meeting with an A&R guy in an hour. he seemed like she seemed like she was interested in your music.
Right.
But she's just got this funny personality, and it's like, you play me the best song they have,
Yeah.
and if I think that song
Right.
has promise, then I'll give them a call. What song would you say?
I mean, Blank Check is the one that has been gotten the most feedback, and the one that people say they really, really like. It's very much a easy listening one. It's very easy to take to heart. It's very plain. It's pretty short. It's like there's nothing like.
It's very stripped, minimal, simple. Yeah, I would say.
So, is it your best song?
It's
personally,
I think Close Your Eyes is better, but that could be because I have an emotional attachment to it, and that but that's the one I feel like really hits me every time.
But I do think another thing to mention about production is our first album that we worked on, we really did it at like bare bones.
Yeah, we decided to really put ourselves in a box.
Yeah.
And put the producer in a box as well.
Limit ourselves in terms of like what we put on it. And I think that was something we needed at the time. But now we're at a way different point. Like, because everything you hear is real instruments on the album. And I think just that in itself puts you behind industry standards because like industry standard is like stack 5 kick drums.
No, I disagree with that.
Really?
I disagree with that. I think the reason you like Adele's record
is because it's
give
real.
You an example. Not because it's real.
No.
But because there's nothing superfluous, to use a douchebag word.
Yeah.
There's nothing extra in that record that doesn't help the music. So it's not about how many tracks.
No, of course not.
Right.
But that's kind of what you guys were saying is, oh, well, we deliberately limited the instrumentation and the arrangement, and that's why it didn't. No. Adele does that. Rick Rubin does that all the time. And your records don't sound like Rick Rubin.
Right.
No, of course not.
So I'm sort of calling you out a little.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
not
good.
minimalism.
That's good.
I like the minimalism.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I would say, if I were being more direct about it, I would say sound selection.
Yeah.
Meaning when you have virtual instruments, they better be the best virtual instruments you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm serious.
Yeah. No, of course.
So it's not, oh, how many times can we stack this kick drum? Is this kick drum like what
is the best,
great producers
best quality
use? And does it really fit the vibe and the tonality? And does it really sit perfectly? And where does it lay in the rhythm and how that stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, a great Italian recipe maybe only has 5 ingredients.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like, oh my God, what is this? This is really good. That's what. So it's sound selection. Your sound selection is not as competitive as it could be. Meaning, the samples you're using, the drum samples you're using, the piano samples are pretty good, but some of those samples you're using are not as good as they could be. The song could be noticeably better just by using stronger samples, for example.
Right.
So those are all things you could either buy those samples or maybe rent them for a month and try them out and go, okay, these are the things we like. And then like whatever you have to do economically you can always push on things and make things 10% better, non-expensively.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But minimalism, I think, to get back to the sound conversation, I think minimalism is part of your strength. I agree with you about that. I don't think it's something you need to sort of fix on your next record.
Okay. Cool.
But it's hard to make a good, strong, minimal record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Have you guys heard? I mean, like we could talk about records, but I think doing that is actually a good way to go. I also think that your demos, both for them to be more competitive and also more marketable, both B2B to producers and B2B to like, a placement library or show or whatever, do less. In other words, sometimes in records that I'm listening of yours, like I love the intro and then something happens and I'm like, that drum killed it for me. And the drum or whatever isn't paramount to the music or the song. It's just happens to be now the weakest link in that arrangement. And now it's kind of like wiped it out of a lot of opportunities. So instead of doing that, what you could do is you could have versions of it that are all a cappella.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
versions of it that are very, very hyper minimal,
Mhm.
and then versions that are a little more built out. And then you can hand different versions to people and go, here, go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
song that did the most for you commercially was the one that got remixed.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
that's also we also have had it remixed because it did so good.
But the
Yeah.
point I'm making is the opposite of the point you're trying to make.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is the nature of that song
Yeah.
lent itself to being remixed,
Oh, that's
number one.
absolutely.
But number two, the remixing of it, I don't mean to be like overly harsh, but
No,
Go
no,
for
it's,
it.
it's
remixing
fine.
of
We
it
can handle it.
Go for it.
lifted it sonically
Yeah.
in a way that the
Right.
original, gorgeous as it is, I love that
Yeah.
song.
Thank you.
It's like there's a simpler, more sort of organic version of the song, and then there's this remix version of the song.
Right.
And part of the reason I believe that it made that leap and is 10 times more popular than anything else you've done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Well, yes.
The reason that is partially because that someone heard that song and went, oh, I could totally fuck with that song. And they went, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so you guys, I think, rather than have this sort of hyper simple version of it and then a more complicated version or whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
I would say you guys could bring that up just a little bit and have a little bit more of that range where you can create that sound.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I think it's engineering and sound selection
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that's
It
going to
also
help get
helps
you there.
that the person that remixed it has a following of his own. He has like, yeah, so that's another reason. Because when I talk to my friends and my family and whatever and fans, they prefer the original version, which is interesting. But because he has like that following, we have like tons of fans in India that really love
Sorry,
it.
I was laughing at Wu-Tang's comment.
Yeah, no worries.
I couldn't help but laugh out loud. She's like, I want to be a musician. So
Yeah,
keep
so cute.
criticism. Oh, wow.
Loved it.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Sure.
I don't
We
do
appreciate
this.
it a lot. So.
I don't do this for really. I mean, I did it a little bit with Dash,
Yeah.
but like you guys are so close to doing some really great things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I wanted to be able to sort of like put some of those out and let you guys also talk about where you want to go. And I think you're doing a lot of the right things. Love the fact that you guys are on here and we're talking. I was really hoping to be able to get either Goda or I know they were on earlier and they were
Yeah, but
listening to
Goda
your
said that he
stuff.
was up for
Yeah.
coming on.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Goda. Can you? Sorry, I missed it. Can I pop you on, brother? Goda said he was down, bro. Dude, bro, plug
Totally
in,
down,
man.
bro.
Plug in.
If he's
He's still here, man.
Yeah. Yay.
yes.
Goda,
Nice.
what's up?
Hey
man?
guys,
What's
up?
up?
Hi.
How are you?
This is one of my
Good,
favorite
thanks.
people on the planet. Goda, 7000 apart.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Goda, everybody hashtag Goda right now.
Yeah.
You guys are like, who is that guy? I don't even know who that guy is. Fuck it, Goda, whatever. Seems like a cool guy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's like my kind of a day off today because
Nice.
the week's been hard. So I'm
That's
just
what we were
chilling
just
a bit.
talking about, man. You gotta have like your
Mhm.
day where you're just laying low. Dude, you're like straight up Salvador Dali.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing in quarantine.
I'm so jealous. I still
Focusing your energy on the mustache.
Yeah,
You're just like,
yeah, basically, yeah.
nice.
man,
Yeah.
the skills of this guy with his facial hair, like someday I aspire to be doing that. So we could just talk about mustaches all day, but like tell so Goda, you live in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Give everybody here and 7000 an idea of like kind of what you do musically and kind of like what you're up to.
Well, I was in LA for a bit. That's where I met Peter, and then I moved to Mexico City, and I have a studio and I produce music here, mainly young artists in their career, not necessarily in age, but and my studio is in a complex with another 7 studios and 7 more producers.
Nice.
So and we do different stuff. Some are more into like film scoring. Others are working for labels. Others are working like with more in the urban music and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Coda, do
And
you have a link to the studio, or is that something you're interested in having us mention, just so people know? Or I don't know. Tori mentioned that.
yeah, I can. Well, actually, I'm in my phone. So if I paste the link,
Totally.
yeah,
We'll put it in the
like
Discord.
that. Yeah.
We'll put it in the Discord later. You can tell me what. But yeah, totally. So, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just produce here. We record a lot, and then we work in others projects like playing or producing or doing a beat or editing or mixing. So it's great, not just this place but the city in general, because it's like there are a lot of pro musicians, and like it's like the main hub for music in Latin America, and it's close to the States too. So it's a great place to make music.
Awesome.
Nice.
Is there a style of music? I'll let you answer this rather than me say it. Is there a style or a range of music that you feel like you're more inclined towards, or you do more?
I would say pop, but that's like not saying anything.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like today's pop, which is like kind of a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
Right.
But now that we're talking music, like I know how to make organic music, like
Totally.
all organic
Nice.
and all in the box.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's an answer, but that's
Yeah, and
what comes to my
I would
mind.
say, because you know, my 2 cents, and then I want to let you guys just kind of chat music a little bit. Did you hear? Did you get a chance to hear that one single that I had sent you this morning a little bit?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so at least you have one. I sent. What's the song on your EPK again, guys?
Probably Blank Check.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
would
guess,
assume it's
yeah.
Blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've heard that song. Goda is someone that I think is very, you work really well with artists. There's certain producers that are good because they do amazing technical things, and you do as well. You've got great gear, you know how to use it. All of those things are absolutely there. But I feel like one of your unique strengths is that, you empathize with your musician yourself, and you can understand, and you take the time to understand what an artist is doing and why they're doing it, and what it might sound like, and you just have a very special skill for that. And
Thanks.
yeah, I mean, I think that's the reason I would want you guys to talk, is
No,
because
definitely.
so what was, you heard us gabbing on and on about the music and stuff. What's your impression? You heard the single, you heard the conversation a little bit. Like, what's your honest impression of like what we're talking about, and what might be useful for them?
I thought that it was a song that could stand by its own. Like it was good, solid songwriting,
Thanks.
and also very solid performances. And but raw performances.
Right.
They're they're rough. It's not like like edited to like broadcast level or like professional level, but I could hear like you singing like, oh, this girl really sings and really knows how to deliver that performance.
Thank you.
So that's that like got me thinking like, oh, I could, it wouldn't, if I were to work with these guys, it wouldn't be an editing nightmare or something like that.
Yeah.
Like endless sessions and takes and takes and takes. It will be like, oh, like she could nail what she wants to do, like with her vocals and also with her emotion.
First take. That should be your nickname.
First take.
Like, I got it.
Yes, and but I also thought that the development of the arrangement was
Yeah.
a little bit like demo kind of
Yeah.
a thing.
Mm. Yep.
But
What do you mean by? Do you mean the production level of it, or the actual arrangement of the song?
I think the arrangement, I
Mm.
thought it was the meaning the instrumentation, like the way instruments come in and out, because in the maybe in the American world the arrangement is more of the sections,
Mm-hmm.
but like more European traditional way, it's more like the where
String
instruments
arrangement
come
or
in and
some
out.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're
Right.
talking
But
like the pop structure arrangement of the song.
yeah, that could be that could have more work, but also I thought that all the instruments were like kind of loops, but and I don't mean loops are bad, but
Mm.
they can be treated with detail, like
Yeah.
take a little bit here and make this little bit this a tiny bit different, or just have some detail. Like I didn't think it was a detailed production. I
Yeah.
thought,
Mm.
but
I agree. I'm gonna take my 11:30 p. break. You guys go.
Yes. That's good.
It's scheduled.
Go.
It's
Yeah.
scheduled on my calendar.
yeah, so maybe that, but I can listen that you're like you know how to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, and also like I was listening to the piano, and I don't know. I want to ask you actually, how did you
Yeah.
record that piano?
So we worked with a producer in Sweden actually
Yeah.
for
In like the middle of nowhere. His
Yeah.
studio was barely finished. I think we were some of his first clients, and it's a real upright piano.
Yeah, it's an upright piano, and it was recorded with. I think he had two like overheads,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then I think he had one in the middle, like all condensers, in omnidirectional, and then I think he might have had one in the piano as well,
Yeah.
like a more like a dynamic mic, and then I think it was all going through like a universal like one of the more like a rack,
Yeah.
like universal
a
audio
preamp.
rack. Yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly what microphones he was using, but
No, I don't know either.
but yeah, it was like a real piano.
We
in
have a
real
picture
room.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? That
Yeah.
I think when you have that situation where you have a
Mhm.
real instrument, and
Right.
and I can tell by the sound that it was a vibing instrument.
Yeah.
That it was like this thing is unique. Like,
Yeah.
but it,
Yep.
but it has like things that get into the way, like the distracting stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's too much noise.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah, and like I see very often in younger artists that when they listen with attention to a real performance, like a guitar, they say, "Oh, I can hear the fingers of the guitar player,
Yeah.
and I can hear." Well, it is supposed to be that way,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be that way in a cool, non-distracting, like natural.
Right.
But I thought that in the recording you had,
Mhm.
that it's a little distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and also you said like it was like 5 microphones on that
Yeah.
on that piano, and you don't need that at all.
No.
Yeah,
No, for sure.
like one mic might be cool. 2 mics, it's safe.
Yep.
Always
Mhm.
like stereo pair on a piano. It's
Yep.
like always works.
Yep.
But it's simpler than
Right.
many times that and we could make it complicated just to think we're doing something great, but it's
Right.
not actually like engineering. It could be like
That's
rocket
true, Cam.
science.
It's
Mhm.
But
hard
at the
because
sa-
there's a lot of mics where you have phase problems, right?
Yeah, face problems, and also like sometimes you have many mics because you don't know what sound you want.
Yeah.
I
Because-
think that's what he was probably doing.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if
Yeah.
he used all 5 mics, you know, or
Yeah.
if he ended up just using the 2 stereo pair. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
What's
sure.
up, Emma? Thank you.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's say when you're in a situation like that, I think you kind of get used to know what like Emma, nice.
She's awesome.
Yeah, and also you kind of like, well, when you start doing it, you get a feeling like when for what's gonna be vibey on the record and what's gonna be just a distracting thing.
Mhm.
Also, what Pete was saying about like recording your vocals in your closet.
Yeah.
After a while, you can get used to like to know what's a good take sonically.
Right.
Besides musically, I know you have that like more than enough.
Thanks.
You know when
Thank you.
it's good musically,
Yeah.
but from the engineering side, and I'm not.
Yep.
I think I'm not a very technical producer.
No.
I know technical stuff, and I can record a drum set, and like I'm not a beginner in that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I'm not like there are engineers that are like scientists of that.
Yeah.
I'm not that.
Like
but
engineers. Yeah.
But I can record a vocal like in many situations and know what works.
Right.
And I think working with a better producer, or like not even not in your songs, just attending sessions or being around
Right.
where music is made, you
Yeah.
realize, oh, my rough take has to sound like that to be that in the at the end.
Right. Yep.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Goda, let me ask you one other sort of technical question, and then Emma, if you want to hop on, you can. You're always welcome to. Good to see you. If you were looking at their setup, we were talking, I don't know if you were on earlier when we were talking about like, okay, they have sort of, let's say the first 50% they're going to be kicking out from home, and then they might have somebody else helping with the second 50%, theoretically. And they've got an AT40, what did you have, a 4040, whatever it is?
4058.
40,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And you've got an Apogee duet? Apollo.
Apollo Twin, yeah. Yep.
No separate preamp.
No preamp.
Some level of acoustic treatment in the closet, but probably not very much.
Mhm.
Yep.
Running in Logic.
Yep.
That's kind of what they're doing. If you were a producer and you obviously want the best session possible, if you're going to do the next 50%, if there was one thing you could change about their current setup, knowing what they do musically, what would you change?
Well, if you can get a better room,
Mhm.
it's fine. But I would say maybe the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We agree. It
Yeah.
hasn't been what we wanted it.
Like an SMB or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What would you say, like a TLM 103?
Yeah, like a TLM 103, 414.
Which is about used is probably about $1,000
Okay.
ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not super ridiculously painfully expensive, but not a cheap microphone.
Yeah.
But that's sort of like a low end, really good range. And I want to say, Emma, I think you use the TLM 103.
Emma? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Emma's mic is the TLM
That's cool.
103.
Nice.
So like, there you go. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a
I think-
solid. Go
I
ahead.
think we've had some issue, or like it's been kind of hard to find a good microphone for me, just because I am so dynamic and stuff. Like I go
your
from very,
range.
very quiet and I can be very, very loud, and I can be
Yes.
very warm, and I can be very sharp as well. And so like finding a good microphone would be key for sure. But if you guys recommend that one,
I
we'll
think you
definitely
just
pick it out.
did. I think it's what it is finding $1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Or 1,200 or whatever it is that you can pick it up. Seriously, like
Yeah.
that's
Second stimulus check.
And also if you can't get a mic like
Patreon.
right now,
Dude,
and you need to
Patreon.
record today,
Yeah.
I would say like if you have that problem of just like having too much gain or too low gain, just work with proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a lot of
It's-
that work.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Like
Pull
and-
away and yeah.
Mhm.
and also like takes are useful from like there's a lot of headroom that is useful, like a lot of dynamic range.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have a lot noise,
Mm-hmm.
other noises like cars or like
Yeah.
planes or anything. So you can record kind of like to be in the middle section of the meter,
Right.
and
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Always.
Now let me zoom out for a second, and then
Yeah.
dude, we appreciate you popping in on your like one day off, and you probably
Yeah,
take
thank
off one day off
Yeah,
a year.
thank you.
Like this guy works crazy just like the rest of us.
Yep.
And it's always good to see you. Goda was the first person when Tori and I were like, "What's YouNow? What is this?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I can't get my camera to work." And I'm like, "Goda, what are you doing right now?" And he's like, "I'm like hanging out at home." I'm like, "You want to get on YouNow so we can figure out the video?" He's like, "Sure, bro. What do you need? What is this? What are you talking about? What is it?" He was like from the get. So
So
it's just
awesome.
funny. Like you've been a part of this
it's been
from
great.
from
Yeah.
the first second. You're like,
Nice.
what is this
Yeah.
YouNow thing? But
Like, I got
wanted to
you.
I wanted to ask you, zooming out one more. Okay, if you're hearing the record that you're hearing, and I don't know if you heard their performance at the top. I don't think you did because I think you popped on a little
Yeah.
bit later. But like
I did.
imagining, oh, you did. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
He did. Cool.
So those are two pretty good examples of like I think their strongest songwriting and everything. So considering that, do you think that if they were going to either try and focus on better sonics in that first 50%, or sharpening their arrangements and songwriting, and just theoretically, if they could only do one, which one would be the most fruitful for them if you had them work on one for the next 6 months? Or,
I think Sonics, but not like Sonics in the live stream,
Yeah.
but
Awesome.
Sonics in the records.
Yeah.
I think that will be. But you know, Pete, there in this reality, we can do both.
Yeah.
Correct, completely. I guess I
they'll do.
wanted to put a little context on it because I think writing better songs doesn't cost anything.
Nope.
It
Right.
just costs attention and love and patience and doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Whereas a TLM 103 is going to cost you $1,200.
Yeah.
And so one feels like, oh shit, someday, and the other is like, let's write a song, let's listen to songs we love a little more closely.
Yeah.
And find
Right.
one aspect of that we can adapt for our own and make our craft better. That doesn't really cost anything. And I feel like there's enough. You guys are great writers, but I also think there's enough. Go to sort of diplomatically alluded to it a little bit. There's enough headroom in your ability to just polish your arrangements,
Right.
that you could get 100% better song with the same sonics right now and still have people go, oh my God, who's writing these?
Yeah.
Right.
And that wouldn't cost you anything, right?
Definitely.
And I'm saying that, I mean, we're both saying it from a place of support and love, but it's like, great songs are tough.
What's your thought about using loops?
I fucking hate the loops I'm hearing you guys do.
I don't.
You want to know the honesty?
We haven't
Oh,
used
you mean? I think he's meaning.
Oh.
I think you're talking about two different
okay.
things.
I mean, Logic.
Both. I mean,
Okay.
I first off, as a tangent, unrelated to what you were actually asking,
Yeah.
I hate you doing loop covers. I hate
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
Cool.
And
Why?
here's why.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everything you said about brand, image, what we're trying to do as an artist.
Right.
When I hear you do covers, and I won't use an adjective, but it's like there's too many covers I hear you guys doing with the loop pedals or the whatever that are just not. They're not your covers. They're not.
Right.
You're just phoning them in.
Yeah.
When you guys phone in Africa, it fucking pisses me off.
That's okay.
You don't know the chords, which is fine. But also, it's not like, oh my God, like her voice sounds amazing on this version of Africa. It doesn't.
Right.
There's lots of songs you guys could have picked.
Yeah.
And the looping thing to me is an entertainment mechanism. It's something that's like, oh, that's interesting. It's cool. I'm not saying don't do it ever.
No.
But to me, it dilutes a lot of the stuff we just talked about the last hour.
Yeah.
No, we definitely agree.
on the question of loops in Logic, it goes back to what Goda was saying,
Mhm.
that
Yep.
sometimes it becomes sort of the training wheels. It's like, oh, we can just
Right.
good, okay, that works. Yeah, but that's only a portion of what the music actually needs from that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if you just sort of like copy paste
Right.
and use that loop to sort of fill a hole,
Right.
it actually it can sort of do more harm than good.
Mhm.
That would be my
I
response
guess
to I think what you were
I
asking.
guess why I'm asking is because, like, for example, just from an arrangement standpoint, like for drums and for things where I don't have like super high quality samples, or I don't, you know what I mean, to get it to that
Then get them.
50%. Okay.
Yeah,
Is it because
Then what are
they're
your
too expensive?
suggestions?
Go
Well,
ahead.
Splice
what are your-
Splice is pretty cheap.
Splice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, using samples from Splice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that-
because
no,
that's
no,
something
hold
I've
on,
thought
hold on.
about.
Is that really what you recommend? You recommend that versus getting like waves or whatever the hell you might
Like-
recommend? That's do you really recommend that? I mean, if you do, that's great. I don't, and I'm saying that I don't. It's like I don't know Splice enough to have a strong
Right.
opinion,
Mhm.
but I'm wary of something that's sort of a marketplace of samples. They just
Yeah.
come from all over.
I've
Well, for
found
demo purposes.
no, like for even for professional
Yeah.
recordings,
Okay.
like you have to like,
You got to really.
yeah, you have to like go deep into that,
Mhm.
and there
Right.
are some like let's say that sound that it's a brand that it's been making samples for a while. They're now in Splice, so
Right.
they're good. Also, like if you like native instruments
Mhm.
Right.
complete,
Yeah, we
that
have one
has
of
like
We have
Yeah.
contact. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have good
Yeah.
sounds.
you're covered.
Yeah.
So you
Okay,
have good
cool.
sounds.
Great.
Your
Sweet.
sound selection issue is a
Yeah.
matter of skill,
Yes.
not
Right.
resources.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Right?
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's
Definitely.
actually it's good. I'm glad we So
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Goda, love you,
You
man.
know.
Love you
What are you
too.
working
You're
on?
awesome.
What are you working on?
Awesome.
You got anything you can tell us about, or is it all hush hush right now?
No, it's
Because
good.
you're always working with like a dozen artists, and probably most of them it's like, don't talk about this. It's not out yet.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I'm working with like some artists. I was working on a song yesterday for a documentary, and we
Cool.
like, and that this doesn't
NDA,
happen
right.
so
Everyone's got to
often.
sign something. From this
But-
point on, everyone has to sign. I'll send it to everybody.
But it is like we got it in one evening. It was just the whole thing in
Nice.
one evening. So it was
Dang.
Awesome.
nice. Doesn't happen often, but it happened. And also I'm working with a couple artists EPs that I don't know if
Cool.
I can call them EPs because it's gonna be like a collection of singles
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
more than a
Yeah.
A
an EP.
collective body of like
Yeah,
similar
it's-
ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like well, you know, you get it.
Totally
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm working on right now.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
Cool.
I would love to connect you guys, just maybe by email, so that
Yes,
you have a way
please.
to continue
Yeah.
communicating.
Be
Please,
fun.
that
please
would
do.
be awesome.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So, Goda, Miguel, you got. I don't think you really stream on YouNow except when I drag you on. Right? I'm like,
Oh.
Goda, get on.
I'm guilty, man. Yeah,
Oh, man,
that's the case.
there's no guilt. I mean, this isn't
No guilt.
Catholic mass, bro. This is not. Don't worry about it. No.
Yeah.
I don't think you really. Do you stream? You don't really stream on. I mean, you don't have time. Have you ever thought about streaming your sessions or streaming production tips and tricks and shit like that?
Yeah, I like you told me about it. Like if I would be down to like, you know, stream one of the sessions I had this week, but to be honest, like setting up the sessions, I forgot. Like
Oh yeah,
I was like into
that's
it,
good.
and I was like
probably.
hanging
You're
out with the
focused
artist,
on-
and just
totally.
like I forgot.
Yeah.
But it will be nice, like
Here,
just to,
let me give you a piece. Let me give you a piece. And actually, so we interviewed somebody. Tori, this was like 3 or 4 months ago. We interviewed a gentleman from Canada, but he's originally from Peru. His name is Guillermo Subauste. We had him on twice. I think it would be really cool, Goda, for you to go back and watch those on YouTube and just see him. I'll send them to you, the links. But the main thing that I would want you to get from it is the following. He started doing live streaming, just after the pandemic, but the way he approached it was like, look, let's just set up some cameras and turn them on, and then record the session, and not even worry about the cameras. Not even worry. Don't pretend they're not even on. And after a while, nobody really cares. And then maybe after the fact, we'll go back, and there might be something interesting. And the only other element to that is, it's sort of like the old, like I remember one time I was recording music for a film, and the guy sat down with his gorgeous, like nylon string guitar, and he started warming up. And I was like, holy fuck, why don't I have the microphone up right now? Why am I not recording this? Right. And it was just him going, da, 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 whatever. And I'm like, that would be perfect for the scene. I could see the whole scene. And I'm like, and it's gone forever. So the point is, if you can just have everything set up so it's live streaming, or even can be seen later as a video of some kind, just do that every time by rote, regardless of whether you use the media later or not, and just keep doing that. Number one, it becomes a part of your workflow, so it's not an additional thing to do. It's just a part of your process. Number two, if you get the audio from the DAW actually into the stream, so it's like good audio, right? It's not Facebook Live type audio. I mean, you could do it in Facebook Live, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not crappy audio coming in through the speaker. And then lastly, what happens is now when people do want to get your live, they do want to come and do a live stream, it's a non-issue for you, because we've already talked about you wanting to possibly do live streaming. So by sort of building it into your workflow, that means that people that are already coming to you are like, oh, you do live streaming? Oh shit, we can do an album release party next week. I didn't know you do live streaming. How much is that? Number one. Number two, oh, well, we were going to go one of two places, but Goda does live streaming. Or, he's like introduced us to live streaming. So you might as well do it, even if you don't do anything with it at first. Just do it, just to try it and sort of toy around with it,
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, something to think about.
Cool.
No, yeah.
So right now, go to thinking, okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my day off, man? Go have fun,
setting up the live stream.
But seriously, Guillermo is like the dude. He's the one dude besides James and Emma. He's probably the one dude I would say, like, that's the guy who knows what he's talking about.
Nice.
Watch those two YouTubes. I'll send them to you. And also, I did an interview with Guillermo that was an article that ran. It was like a number of pages. It was basically gleaned from those interviews, but it's a written version of a lot of the same stuff. I'll send that to you.
Thanks.
And it'll give you some ideas. So yeah, man, always super cool to see you, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Thank you, guys. It's so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you
great
too.
to meet you. Yeah.
We'll definitely connect for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Have a good day off.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks.
Let's cut him off.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
We love you, Goda.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so nice. So nice.
So yeah. This has been fun.
This
It's
has
6
been
minutes
awesome.
till noon. I actually have to jump off at 12.
Whoops.
But this is what I was hoping it would be.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
It's really good. Thank you so much.
So what else, what did you get from this, and what would be some things that you might like to look into now, or that we can help you with moving forward?
And we have so much to just we need to go on a walk after this and just talk about everything. I think it has to kind of
What just happened?
I think
a little bit.
I think there's one big thing that I'm curious about. I'm curious your thought on that might be worth talking about. Is what would you think of me actually building the demos on YouNow?
Yeah, and same with me.
Is that a stupid idea, or is that like a?
My question would be, why would you not do that?
Yeah, well, that was kind of my thought.
That's
but
what
I just wanted to
hear.
get your opinion because
Tori,
I could do it every day.
Tori knows that my approach to things like this, business, creative, whatever, is do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then see how
it works.
that plays out.
Yeah.
Don't ask yourself what do you possibly have
Just
to
do
lose?
it. Yeah.
It sucks. Great.
Cool.
then you
Stop
learn,
doing it.
okay,
Yeah,
that sucks,
move
but
on.
maybe if we did it like
Yeah.
this or whatever, do it. Like, don't
Mhm.
talk about it.
Yeah.
The next time, yeah, totally do it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
cool.
Yeah, because
Now,
I was thinking about
now,
just doing
bear
it
in mind, I would
a little
also
bit.
add a little addendum to that is,
Yeah.
I feel like on Twitch, there's some people, and their names escape me right now, but there are some people on Twitch that are very good at having a kind of entertaining way of showing how they're producing.
Right.
And that's a thing. Just like being
Right.
on a live stream and playing and chatting is a thing. It's not just, you don't, it's a thing. You got to
Yeah.
learn to do
Right.
it, and people
Oh,
have
yeah.
different ways and styles. So I would say do it and try it in your own fishbowl, but then also watch people, just like you listen to records and you're like, wow, how did they
Right.
do that? And the more you listen to it, that's what we were talking about with Dash. Listen, 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 listen,
Yep.
listen, 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 and slowly your ear starts to go,
Figure it out.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow,
Yep.
I didn't notice that until my 50th listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch people
Right.
who are really good at that particular craft of,
Right.
I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing on my record today,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that you have some idea of like kind of gold standard type stuff
Yeah.
at the same time that you're finding your own way.
Definitely.
So that'd be my answer.
Awesome. Yeah, we
Yeah.
chatted with Sam a little bit. He's been helping us out. I've been helping him
Totally.
out with
Yep.
some voice exercises and stuff. And he's been helping us just like how he did things. And he just said, right now you're in such a golden spot because no one really expects too much from you guys yet because you
Totally.
don't have like an audience that only cares about your music. Like we are at the point where we can try gaming and we can try songwriting on stream. We can try like anything.
Totally.
And he was like, just try, see what works and see what you enjoy and see
honest when
what
something
works.
doesn't. Kim had a great
Yeah.
comment that I completely love, which
Yeah.
is I discovered I hate songwriting on stream,
Awesome.
Yeah.
but I had to do it in order to
figure that
discover
out. Yep.
Exactly.
So, like when we first did this, the first two we did, Tori and I did, were on Twitch. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate Twitch. I hate this. I hate Zoom. I hate da. So,
Yep.
do shit. And then you're like, oh, I hate that.
Test it.
Like,
Move on. Yep.
that's part of the value of doing it, because when you think about it in your head, you're like, oh, this will be so great. And then the reverse
You
can
think
happen.
about
You're
it,
like, that'll
yeah.
never work. And then you're like, I don't know. People
Yeah.
like it.
Exactly.
It's weird. So I think
Definitely.
it's just moving into it and trying stuff. Cool.
Yeah. For sure.
And another
to be continued.
yeah.
Yeah. Go
another
ahead.
like super great piece of advice, just real quick, that we got from Sam was whatever you do, think out loud. So whatever, like if it is that you
narrate what you're doing.
Narrate.
Everything
Yep.
that you might think is obvious to people, still narrate it, still talk, keep
That's
talking,
great
keep
tip.
explaining, and keep just like showing off your thoughts, even though it might seem stupid, like, but just like
But we figured
learn to think out
we
loud.
figured it was worth trying because we need to go through like 80 demos.
Yes,
And
so it's time to
good
get to
time
work.
to practice anyway. So
Yeah.
And then we can stream more.
Yeah.
We can stream multiple times a day because
Exactly.
we're instead of doing it off stream,
And
we're
you're
just
getting
there,
stuff done.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Which I
love
like.
it.
I like combining two or
Yeah.
more things to do at the same time.
Being
So
productive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
this was amazing.
Cool.
This was great. Thank you so much.
everyone for being here. I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
letting us go so deep into your music and your life.
For sure.
And what you're doing. I mean, it's
We appreciate it, you know? It's great.
No, for sure. Like it's probably not. It's like a couple of streams ago, someone said like, "What's your superpower, Pete?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like to answer these questions. Ask them, man. So it's it's super rad that you sort of been in the hot seat with us, and
Yeah.
it's been great. I think.
Anytime.
I mean, you guys have been
Yeah.
awesome. So
Thank
thank you guys.
Thank you.
You are
Thank you.
very
Everyone
much
pop
awesome.
it up.
too.
You're also awesome.
7000. It was wonderful having you guys here, Dan. You're insane.
Yeah.
Love you, and thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
Kim, always great to hear your comments and thoughts. T, it's great that you're here. Scotty, it's good to see you again.
Yes.
Hold on. All right, I'm officially late. Wu-Tang, good to see you.
No.
It's fine. Emma, got some Brandy 7000. Sounds like a fan.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's Brandy.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
Brandy.
Brandy,
She's
yep.
the reason we're on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Annie, it's good to see you as well. Ray, thank you for your comments, man. I appreciate it. I think you're maybe new on here, but I appreciate your comments and props earlier. Kathleen, I saw you just popped on a second ago. We're wrapping up, but it's good to see you again as well. Donnie, Love you, man. You're great. And Elise, I'm not sure if I've seen you before, but thanks for popping through. Thank you guys for sharing and all the other stuff you guys do.
Yeah.
Love this space, man. I think this is a really
So
good,
great.
it's a unique,
It's so good.
you know, we're not,
We
we're
love
not
YouNow.
trying to make it like a million people,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's like the right people end up in the room
Yes.
and you know what I mean? So
Definitely.
thank you guys for doing this with us. And I'll put
Anytime.
you and Goda in touch. Anything
Perfect.
else we can help you with,
Thank you.
I'll
That
see
sounds
you in
great.
12 months, if not before.
Yeah.
That's
We'll be
awesome.
celebrating.
That's
yeah,
great.
for sure. We're going to be working our butts off. So
Yep.
it's going to be great.
Definitely.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Love
Yep.
you.
You too.
Take care.
See ya.
See you soon.